Welcome to Mornings with Matt, personal and professional development training that connects the art of acting with critical life skills and self-mastery. Presented by the Deering Acting Studio.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Mornings with Matt. Today, I want to talk about depression, and I'm going to start off by saying that I am not an expert in this subject, and I want everyone to know that if you have some very serious conditions that you need to reach out and get help. And anybody who's feeling depressed, my heart goes out to you, and I just have so much love and compassion there. But today I'm going to talk about specifically what's going on in our world and the fact that yesterday I got just crazy sad and depressed. I mean, it really just hit me. It happened to me. So my day's going along, and I'm just feeling tired and kind of worn out, and I'm feeling like I've been doing all this grind, and maybe some things haven't quite, added up a certain way. And none of those things are true, by the way, but my mind started playing these tricks on me. And I realized I'm sitting there and I'm laying on the ground, and my wife says to me, "Hey, babe, get up. It's time to get up. We got to go to the party." And I just kind of laid there. And I realized I actually remember thinking to myself, if I wanted to, I could just put myself into a state of absolute depression. I mean, I could just stay here, And I got up, and we ended up going to my niece's birthday party, and I got more depressed. We're doing like a drive-by thing, and then we get out of the car for 2 seconds. It's really weird. It's hard to hug people. You're not allowed to hug people right now, and we're artists, we're actors, and so we're very used to high fives and hugging and saying I love you and different things like that. And of course we said I love you, but it was just so different. And the first one of these types of events we went to, it was kind of novel, and now it's like, is this the new normal? I mean, my daughter got hugged by one of my nephews. I mean, he came over and was hugging people, and he probably shouldn't have been doing that, but she started crying because she was feeling a little bit, I don't know, worried. She's like, I don't want to get the virus, and I'm like, geez, this is a tough time. It really is. And so we're on our way home, and I just started I listed off this laundry list of things that were going on in my mind to my wife. And I mean, thank God I have her, because she's this unbelievable woman, Leanne Deering. And if you want to follow her, go to @Leanne Deering on Instagram. You can follow her at Leanne and Michelle to see her comedy. I mean, she's just an unbelievable human being in general. But she just listened to me, and you know what she said? She goes, "Babe, it's okay. You can be sad. It's all right." And she was right. So we're on our way home, and I sort of let myself be sad for a second, and my wife brought up this song, the Superman song, the "I can't stand to fly, I'm not that naive," that one. And she was saying something about it, and I go, I actually really like that song. I don't know why. I tend to like songs that hit that super high pitch, and I don't know. I like it. And so I'm listening to it, and it's funny because it made me more sad. You've listened to the lines, and it's like, I'm not Superman, and even heroes are allowed to bleed and all this stuff. And I'm feeling like I'm a superhero, and then I'm bleeding and all this stuff. And so anyway, the story does get better here eventually. But so this has been hours now, and we decided to get some burgers. And I'm going, all right, so here's the deal, babe. I tell her, I'm going to shock my system tomorrow, but I'm just going to let myself be sad tonight. And she's like, that's cool. I think that's great. Do that. And I was like, all right. So I lay the chair back in the car. She goes in and gets some burgers. We come home. I'm planning on making a milkshake. But actually, no, the burgers weren't ready. And this was the big gift. The burgers weren't ready. So my wife, God love her, is like, I don't want you to have to sit in the car right now. Why don't I drive you home? You be with the kids, and I'll go back and get the burgers, and I'll go wait. And I was like, really? You don't mind doing that? And she's like, no, I mean, I'll do that for you. And so the saint that she is, she drops me off, and I walk in the house, and I look at it, and it's just destroyed. It's a Friday, and our house is just upside down, left and right. We went to this party, like we just left it in a state of chaos. And my kids had some gifts, and they wanted to open their gifts. And I just said no. I was like, you know what? Here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to clean this house. And by the time Mom gets home with the burgers, the house is going to be clean, and we're going to feel so good and so proud, and we're going to open up our gifts in a clean environment rather than opening up in a dirty environment where we're going to add more mess. Instead, we're going to clean first. So we do that. I put on my headphones, and I listen to the Superman song, and I get a little sad. I listen to one more sad song. I find one. It makes me cry a little bit. And then I just said, you're done. And the choice came from service. And this is a very Christ-like mentality that you got to have here when you're going to choose to serve when you're hurting. Jesus talks a lot about that, about being the lowest among these in order, to serve. And so I'm serving by cleaning the house, and before you know it, I'm feeling better. So I change my playlist, and now all of a sudden, instead of listening to the sad song, I'm listening to motivation, and I start feeling better. We clean the house is clean, and I start feeling better. And before I talk to you about my entire shift here and everything that went down, I want to just briefly mention that this is so important right now. It's unbelievably important. So if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling depressed, know right now that you are not alone. I mean, I literally do this for a living. I coach it for a living. I work on my mind every day, and I got really depressed yesterday. So if you're going through this, trust me, you are not alone. But here's why it's so big, because there are stats right now coming out from Michigan that they are worried that there's going to be a 30% spike in suicides because of the state that we are in. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. What's going on right now in the world? People are getting sick. People are losing their jobs. People are lonely. People are isolated. People are turning to substances in unprecedented amounts. I mean, right now, there's been a spike, I think, in 50% spike in alcohol purchases, 100% spike in marijuana purchases. So we're all trying to deal with this and cope with this change, and we don't really know how 100%. And so, I mean, everything I just listed there, they're all signs and symptoms and indicators that people are going to become depressed. And the more people that become depressed, the more chances there are of somebody hurting themselves and whatnot. So we got to really, really be careful. Think about this. All the kids have been uprooted. Like every child has been uprooted from their regular daily life and taken out of school. I mean, that's hard. That is really, really hard. Boyfriends and girlfriends are being isolated from each other. Friends are being isolated from each other. I mean, there's a difficulty here, and I am more afraid now of the virus. I'm like afraid of this aftermath that could come from the depression, and they call, the big financial crisis back in the day, the Great Depression. Well, why? Because people were depressed, and so we want to be careful. We want to be really, really diligent right now to not allow ourselves to fall into that negativity, to fall into that depression. And like my wife said, if you're feeling sad, it's okay to feel sad. Thank goodness I have her, because she's the best. But give yourself permission. Now, to my credit, how was I able to receive that information? Well, it all started from honesty, truth, bringing it up, talking to somebody. So if you're feeling this way, you got to know that you got to reach out. Be honest. This is how I'm feeling. Here are all the things that I feel that are stacked up against me. These are all the things that keep hitting me left and right, and here's what's going on. And let somebody hear it. Speak it out loud. That alone will make you feel better. Then take the time, and I believe, I don't know what it is for each person, but I think that give yourself a grieving period, whatever it is. So for me, I was planning on allowing this to be a 12-hour grieving period for myself, and I was going to wash it down with some milkshake last night. That's what I really decided. I was like, I'm going to do burgers, I'm going to make myself a milkshake, and I'm going to kind of go to bed bloated, but tomorrow morning, I'd already made the decision I'm going to snap out of it. Well, out of service, I snapped out early. And what happened was, it's amazing what your mind can do, is from the service and from snapping out of it, all of a sudden I didn't want the milkshake. All of a sudden I took the burger out of the bun. Like, I made small little choices that gave me more energy this morning and gave me more vitality. And now I haven't been making those choices over the last couple weeks, but the more you make those choices, the more they stack up against one another. Another thing happened today. I've already done push-ups twice. I haven't done push-ups in weeks. I love doing push-ups. I love working out and being physically fit. I need my energy. I need it. When I go home to my kids, I want to just play with them. Recently, I've been laying around a lot. So how do we fix it? Like, how do we just, snap? And the problem is, it's like a slow, gradual thing. So I wasn't feeling like it was a major problem. But when I look back now, I'm going, you weren't your best self. We got to get back into best self status. And so that's what I've done now. I made the choice. So you can make the choice too. And I believe it starts with, one of the keys, if you really want to snap out of it quickly, is to change your physiology. So the study of physiology is that, like, the idea of how one body part affects the other body parts, and how our entire systems are kind of organized and they react to one another. And so there's this idea that if you can change your state, change your mental state, change your physical state, you're changing your physiology, and then all of a sudden your feelings will follow. They'll go with it. And it's so true. It's what happened to me yesterday. Okay? So I'm going to make this episode very, very quick here. I don't want to belabor this point. What I'd like to do instead is send you out in the world with a how-to overcome your depression, your anxiety, your fears right now, and how to just do a really quick snap and get to it. Now, I also want to warn you that this little fix, it will work. Guaranteed it will work if you do it and you really believe in it and you go for it. But you're probably going to have to redo it and redo it and redo it because these things keep coming at us right now. So we're in a time where it's going to take constant maintenance of this. And you got to reach out to people. You got to say something out loud. And if you are somebody who struggles with chronic depression, if you're somebody who you feel like you're having any kind of negative thoughts towards yourself or others or anything, then you really, really got to reach out to one of those hotlines. You got to reach out to somebody who can really, really help you because, there are certain levels of depression, I do understand, that go beyond this. But for most people right now who are dealing with something that they just feel like they're off, your sleep pattern is off and your work pattern is off and your family pattern is off and you just feel off and you're turning to choices that you wouldn't normally turn to, and you need to kind of jolt your system and snap out of this, here's what you do. Okay. First and foremost, find a way to give. This is step number 1. Give. How can I serve? What can I do to lift somebody else up? And not do it because you want to get praise. Just do it because I just want to serve. So in my mind, I'm going to clean the house. That's going to be my choice. I'm going to come home. It's not expected. My wife expected me to lay down on the couch and be a lump on a log. And she said, I'm okay with that. She's like, I sign up for that for the rest of the night. You don't do it very often. I'm going to give you this pass. So I had every reason not to do it. And it inspired me to want to just, you know what? No, I'm going to serve. So serve first. It'll shift your mind. Second, change your thoughts. So for me, I literally had to change the playlist that was going on. I'm playing in my ear. One thing's making me cry. The other thing's making me excited and happy and full of life. So change the playlist that's going on. You can always choose to focus on something that makes you feel a certain way. So if you want to be proud, think of something that makes you feel proud. You've definitely done something, or you have, maybe your kids make you feel proud. Something you've accomplished in your life, it makes you feel proud. Go back to those places and remember how it felt. Remember how you were breathing. The same idea, and you know who's great at this is Tony Robbins. If you've never followed Tony Robbins, and some people love him, some people don't, he's got a lot of good things to say, but he's really good with this physiology stuff. Another thing you can do is think about a time that made you excited, or a time that made you just like through the moon happy. Go to those places, go to those thoughts, okay? So those thoughts, as you start to change your mind, listen to things like this. Listen to motivation. Listen to people that are trying to lift you up, rather than playing the songs that are going to make you cry. So you got to change that thought pattern first, okay? So you're going to serve, change the thought pattern, then you got to get into movement. Movement is very, very important. So what I did yesterday, and I'm going to demonstrate this really quick because it's so silly. I actually went and I did a Superman pose. So it looked kind of like this. And my wife didn't know what was going on, but I did this. And I'm literally walking around like Superman, and it's funny because during the conversation, she had said to me, babe, you're not, you don't always have to be Superman. And then I listened to the song that makes me sad called Superman, and I'm going, you know what? I'm just gonna get into a Superman pose. Like, I'm gonna be Superman. I'm gonna feel like Superman. And next thing you know, instead of being sad, I was in my let me switch angles here. I was in my my son's face, my little toddler's face, and I'm just like loving him and happy and smiling, and I'm going ah. And I saw my wife like watch me with my earphones in, and she could just see it. She's like, wow. I left for burgers, and I had a sad, depressed husband. I came back, and he's happy, full of life, cleaning the house, taking care of the kids, making everybody else around him smile, like literally full of energy. And she's seen this kind of shift before, but it's like, that's a big shift. So you move your body, and then you take action. So the very next thing now is I got to put myself in a place where I'm going to be doing something. So for me, it was interacting with my kids. It was my Superman pose, and then it was jumping into some of the things that were stressing me out, just knocking a couple things off the plate and getting myself set and ready and excited for tomorrow. So for me, I laid out all my clothes. I set my bag. I mean, I was so pumped and ready to wake up today that, I bounced out of bed at 3 a.m. Like, I could not wait to get up and prepare for this show and to even clean the studio. Like, I was just really excited and pumped. Okay, so I'm going to rewind this, and I'm just going to replay this for you, and we're going to end the episode here, okay? So if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad, you're feeling lonely, number one, understand you are not alone. 100%, every single American and most people around the world right now are experiencing the same feelings you're feeling, so do not allow yourself to feel like you are alone, okay? We are all in this together. We have each other, and so please, please, please find a way to get yourself out of the depression. Here is one really good, easy, quick tip to just jolt your system. It's like one of those machines. I don't remember what you call them, a defibrillator, where you go and it just like jolts your system. This is that, okay? So number one, serve, give, find some way to be of service to other people. Immediately after that, change your thoughts. So you're not serving to get something back. If you're serving to get a compliment or something and you don't get it, that can cause more depression. So do not serve with any kind of like you want to get something back, nothing. Serve 100% just to give, just for yourself. Serve to get out of that state. That's number one. Number two, change your thought pattern. Change what is going in here. Very important. Number three, change your physical state. You got to change your posture. Probably you're laying down a lot. Probably you're slumped over. Probably you're letting your eyes droop. When you do things like that, you can make yourself literally depressed. Like, you can do it to yourself. So you got to change. You got to flip. So what worked for me yesterday was a Superman pose. I don't know what's going to work for you. Try Superman. Try anything that can make you feel a little silly, but make you feel strong and make you feel excited for life, okay? And then the last step is you got to take action immediately. When you're feeling good, immediately do something. Go kiss your wife. Call your girlfriend. Hug your mom if you're allowed, if you guys are in quarantine together. do something productive. Find some way to lift yourself up and take yourself out of the funk, and then set yourself up for the next day. That is the goal. That is the key. And then when you do that, then you want to maintain staying in that state, but know that one good decision usually leads to another. Look at me. Look at this. I'm now eating carrots and celery, like, because I want to. It's like the weirdest thing, right? I got a healthy drink sitting here, you know? I mean, I wasn't doing this all of last week. Why was I depressed? Well, I'll tell you, I was making small, little, tiny choices that were leading me that way. Now, all of a sudden, I didn't set out to do push-ups. I didn't set out to eat healthy. I just set out to change my thought patterns. As I do that, the other, different habits, they just fall right into place. Okay, so I want you all to know, we're going to end the show here. I freaking love you guys. I love everybody out there. I'm so grateful to our listeners. I'm grateful to our Deering Acting Studio community. I am grateful for everything that we get to do, and I am just so full of love. And if you are feeling sad, depressed, lonely, I just want you to know I get it. I'm there. People around you love you. They care about you. Find a way to get help. Find a way to speak these things out loud. And then if you can, make the choice to just change your state, to flip right away. You can do it. You can be happy today. I promise. All right, God love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please like, subscribe, and share this video, and subscribe to our channel. It sure means a lot to us.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.